Hello everyone, this is Mr. Speak, and I'm going to do a review on Bleach Chapter 468, Raid as a Blade. We cut back to Byakuya and Tsukishima finally, and Tsukishima is just like keeping his distance from Byakuya. He's just like cutting around his surroundings and whatnot, so Byakuya can't really understand what he's doing, but he definitely doesn't think Tsukishima is just farting around with his actions. Anyway, Byakuya goes on the attack, releasing his Shikai. Tsukishima dodges, and then we cut back to quick glance at Ikaku and Shishigawara, the guy with Jackpot 7. And Shishigawara just doesn't want to stay down because he's got this extreme loyalty to Tsukishima, and we finally learn that it's because he admires Tsukishima's strength. However, Ikaku says that it's stupid since Tsukishima obviously doesn't seem to be willing to die for him in turn or have any sort of that kind of loyalty to him as well. And we definitely could understand that, considering Ginjo and Tsukishima agreed that Shishigawara may become too powerful for them, so they are going to decide to kill him later. In any case, Ikaku promises to crush him with his full power. And I don't know how to describe the reaction on Shishigawara's face. I don't know. I just can't describe it at this time. We'll see about it later. In any case, Tsukishima looks kind of beat up. Byakuya is like saying, okay, you can't cut me in there and there and that. But, however, we get a little weirdness going on. Apparently, some scenery is attacking Byakuya, and then we get more explanation on Tsukishima's power. Apparently all that, just random cutting around and I don't know, he was just like light movements of swinging a sword. It's more about Tsukishima's ability to insert himself in the past. He can cut things, and then when he activates his power, they'll be already cut, and then everything will go back up to real time. It's my theory is let's say I cut a rock, and nothing would happen to it now, but if I activate my power, that rock will have already been cut, and anything that involved that rock will change now that it's been cut, from when it's been solid. So I guess say I cut the rock and threw it at two people, and then it was in the middle of two people when the throwing arc was placed it in the middle of two people, and then I activated then it just fell in between them, and then I activated my power, so it clunked them in the head instead. I guess that's my best explanation. Maybe I'm misunderstanding his power, but I'll just read what it says right here so you might get a better understanding. My power, the book at the end, allows me to insert myself in the past of the ones I cut, so I made it so I've already been in there in the past. And apparently, he says it works on inorganic matter. And then we cut to him. He says, I've already inserted myself into your sword, and his blade won't be able to hit me or anything like that. I don't know if I say that Byakuya looks worried, but we do cut to his eye. I really don't know how to say it. And he says fatal. It ends saying fatal wound. I highly don't think that Byakuya has been beaten, because as we've known, Shikai isn't their only technique, and Byakuya can do more than just Shikai. He got flash steps, he's got Kido, and hell, he might even have hand-to-hand combat down somewhat. I mean, he was with Yoichi for a while, so yeah. In any case, that's as the chapter end. Pretty average chapter. We cut to it's kind of like how they did before. They're getting progress in one fight down, and then we see the ending of the previous fight. This might be Tsukishima just hyping his power like the other Fullbringers have done, Giriko, the butler dude. Yeah, finally remember his name. And then Jackie thought their powers was all that, and they just got their asses kicked. I mean, literally, that might just be him doing his version of it. Then again, Tsukishima has been shown to be a more competent opponent. He was able to take on all the Fullbringers at once, so to speak, including Ichigo and partially Chad too. They weren't going all out with it, but at the same time, he was able to balance it. At the time, Ginjo didn't know, thanks to Tsukishima's power, that, you know, they weren't enemies. So yeah, it could be assumed. But at the same time, again, I'd only rate these guys lieutenant level. Tsukishima's power definitely kind of strikes you. I don't know. It kind of strikes you as game breaker power, so to speak. But at the same time, I don't know. The full implication, we'll see next chapter. Honestly, I can't get a good idea if he is actually able to put up a challenge against Byakuya. That'd be one thing. But at the same time, like, even when he had to prepare this whole thing and rely more on his abilities because Byakuya is too good of an opponent. Not even just because of his Shikai, but he was good enough, you know, just average skill. So yeah, that gives you an idea that, you know, hey, they're not that overblown. Which is, I guess, is somewhat of a balance too, because some of the Fullbringers have shown like game breaker powers. Yukio's ability, Giriko's ability. So if Giriko had honestly like went on a power trip, he pulled the toes in on us. Like, he was so hyped because of his new power, he just didn't notice himself that, you know, he didn't take his opponent seriously, and he suffered for it. He suffered terribly, but only for a split second. Don't worry. Yeah, Kenpachi saw that. And again, it's, you know, it's kind of a good balance to their skills. Let's just say that if Yukio actually has some fighting skills, then that would make him too, I guess, I don't know. It would be interesting. We don't want pushover fights. At the same time, we don't want to, you know, upset the balance here. We obviously know the captains and the lieutenants and whatnot are a far cry in skills over these people, but at the same time, we don't want to see total pushover fights. That would be interesting, but if you're going to do a pushover thing, just have it happen instantly and be done with it. That'd have been enough for me, honestly. It had felt like kind of a waste, but as long as the next arc or whatever is better, I really wouldn't care. At the same time, I don't know. I'd give this chapter 6.5, 7. It's kind of weak, but at the same time, I liked it. Kubo's technique in like trying to progress the story, but at the same time, too much cliffhanger stuff. But we really want to see the Ginjo versus Ichigo fight, and we really want to get a hint about what's going on. They should like take part of one chapter and, you know, use Ichigo's dad and Urahara as kind of like, you know, devices to explain like what's coming next in this whole thing. So yeah, I just think it could be done better, and it's really not that much development. We get more insight to Tsukishima's power, sort of. That's pretty much it. And then we learn that Mo Shishigawara is probably going to die, but that was entirely by his own choice because he doesn't want to stay down. In any case, it was a good chapter. What do you think? Put any comments below. In any case, I'm going to be signing off now. Good night.